Right, good morning everybody. Welcome to Friday's Total Fitness. And today's routine is called Pounding, and it is a shopping list template. Always quite popular. These, you're going to need a kettlebell. But yeah, one heavy, one light, and one. If you've got a bit of variety, that's brilliant. Just have them already. 2 light hand weights as well. 2 little dumbbells. Nothing too heavy there at all. And of course, your body weight. Right, let's get warmed up, and then I'll go through the details with you. Usual warm-up, working our way through the joints, getting them all mobilised. Right, chucking those forward.
So close to you right now, it's a force me. I wear my heart on my sleeve like a big deal. Surround me like a waterfall. There's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now. I feel so close to you right now. So close to you right now, it's a force me. I wear my heart on my sleeve like a big deal. Your love falls down on me, surround me like a waterfall. There's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now, it's a force me. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
We're going to do 5 exercises. And we're going to do 5 sets of each. So, start with number 1. Round 2, we do number 1 again. We'll do number 1 after that. Then we add in number 2. Then we start with number 1 again. Number 2, add number 3. 1, 2, 3, add number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the final one in. Once you've done that final one, that's 5 rounds, which means you've done number 1 5 times. You can tick that off the list. Then we start back with number 2, start back with number 3, start back with number 4, and then we're just left with number 5. So you get our 5th and final set. Might sound complicated, it really isn't. You're just following me anyway. And you're working to time, so there's no rep scheme. Just concentrate on the movement you're doing. Okay, and if you're feeling up for it, you can really go for it. Equally, you need to pace yourself, pace yourself. Right, you need to know your 5 exercises. I've got 2 of these to do. This is number 1. T-runners first. Light dumbbells, you don't need a lot. Those ones where you're holding them out. Arms length, palms down. And you're just jogging lightly on the spot. Try to keep those on there, okay? A lot of lactic threshold in the shoulders there, getting tested. Number 2, kettlebell, clean, squat, curl. So it's a little chain here, a little flow, as they're called. So you go through the hips, pull and catch. Then you're going into a nice deep goblet squat. At the bottom, you're going to curl. Drop the kettlebell to the floor, back up, stand back up, and then through again. Clean. Clean at the top, curl at the bottom. Clean at the top, curl at the bottom. Okay? Right, so that clean is just that pull and catch. Okay, whereas the curl is much more controlled and all that. Next one. Sorry, number 2, this one, that was number 3, sorry. Number 2, squat thrust to a standing deadlift. Kettlebell between the heels. Okay, and then it's out, in. 1 single deadlift, hinge the hips. Okay, hinge. Knees out. Armpits closed. Hinge. That's the movement you want, look. Okay, not this. Okay, so, and every rep you do, you're going to add a rep, yeah? So, out, in, 1, 2, out in 3, out in 4, see how far you get. In 30 seconds, it won't be long, it won't be far. Right, number 4 then, back to body weight. We're going to do a push up into a toe ring, bit of mobility here. A little bit like your warm up. You go into that downward dog sort of position. You do a press up first. Okay, make sure your elbows are there, look. Not there. Okay, so press up, then carry on pushing the floor away. And then reach your right hand to your left toe. Push up. Reach. Push up. Push through that left arm. Push my hips as high as I can. If you can't reach your toe, that's fine. Reach your knee, or your shin bone, or whatever you want to do. Just get as close as you can. Alternating each time. Right, last one. Loaded plyo squats, top loaded plyo squats. So you want your light weight. You can do plyo squats without weight as well, because these are quite demanding. So you're resting the dumbbells up there. Okay, get your elbows up a little bit. Sit into that gap. Up. And a little. Push through the toes, little jump at the top. That's optional. Okay? You can do plyo squats without the weight as an alternative, or just weighted squats without the jump if you prefer to do it that way. Okay, so there's 2 ways there of scaling it down a bit for you. Okay, right. 25 sets. Start with okay, 3, It's tough like this. When it gets further and further apart, these don't forget. Hey! Okay. Happy Friday, Daniel! Hey! Push up and reach through. Have a little breather. Okay. Well, that was intense. Okay. Get my breath back. Have yourself a quick drink. Right, our next one. Same again. 5 drills, 5 sets of each. Done. In that shopping list style. Number 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5. Okay, so here they are. Number 1. Overhead jacks. Okay, there. Now try and do jacks while pushing them as high as you can. Not as easy as it looks. If you've got any back pain, what happens is, if you've got tight muscles, your overarch is fine. You'll be doing this. We don't want that. So, either drop the weights and just do it with your hands, or side steps will do. Either way, you keep up with your head, okay? Right. Number 2. And number 3. Opposite sides, we're doing clusters. Cluster is the clean into a thruster. Very demanding, because you're pulling, you're squatting, you're engaging the core, and you're pushing. Every single fibre in your body is working on these. So a hand clean, kettlebell, thumb side of the handle. Bring it up. You're going to go through the thigh triangle, top of the thighs. Clean. Back of the wrist, hand under the chin. Lift the elbows slightly as you squat. Take a breath in and hold. Breathe out and push. Back. Back through. And that's what you want. Okay? Yeah, great analogy. I've seen recently in a few places, imagine your water's there. your breath. When you squat, breathe and brace the core, and then out as your head comes above the water again. Okay, that'll help you keep that won't collapse in there. Anyway, that's number 2 and number 3. Number 4, leg circles. Build their abs on their own. Okay, little circles. And 3 one way, put the brakes on. 3 the other. Well, the number's not that important as long as it's 3 and 5 each way. Put the brakes on, round you go. Okay, the last one is burpees and 4 mountain climbers. So you drop in, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4 before you come up. Okay? Sit there. Right. Overhead shots. Exceedingly toughest. 3. side one. Side one. time to do it, then you can revert to your cheesy sit-up. Just so you know the difference, strict, feet flat, hands planted, so you don't throw your arms forward at all. You can still do them the other way, throw your arms forward, fine. It doesn't matter, as long as you're aware that you're making them easier. That's all I care about. And now eventually, you try and do some at least strict. So, 10 sit-ups, immediately come into throwing position, and you do 10 squat thrusts. And remember again, the squat thrust, there's many different versions. Okay, a proper squat thrust is really, think of it as a thrust out and back in from like a bear crawl type, a tight bear crawl. Your knees are in, out, back. Okay, it isn't really this, like I see a lot of people do it. Okay, not really anything. Okay, so you want to be concentrating on getting your knees in. Look, it doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt you doing it the other way. As long as you know you're not really doing it properly until you get that capability, you get the knees in. And again, it's all related to mobility. So you need to really stick around and control mobility, or at least do it in your own time. Anyway, 10-10. Minute then, any time left, you hold the plank. Minute 2, 12-12. Minute 3, 14-14. And minute 4, 16 of each, if you can, and you get that far. And then by all means, cheat your way through it. Just get them done. And then into plank, for any time that's left. Okay, there's a little extra plank at the end, just a really tight push through. Right, okay. Okay, so 4 minutes in one. Okay, so 10-10, and then into planks. what time is it? I'll see you in 2 minutes. Or tomorrow, 9 a.m. It's Saturday. Just the top for tomorrow. And it's Rocky. He's shown it lots of time. The finisher on that. Some great kettlebell movements though during the main section. So I'll get kettlebell ready as well. Right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Have a great day. I'll see you in a minute.